In our pursuit of virtue, it is tempting to view kindness as an unassailable good, a virtue unburdened by limits. But as students of Stoicism, we must understand that any virtue, when stretched beyond reason, becomes its own vice. Excess kindness, unchecked by wisdom, can lead us astray from our path of fortitude and self-control. The ancients warned us, do not confuse kindness with weakness. Let us explore 10 ways excessive kindness can destroy the very foundation of a life rooted in purpose and reason. 1. You become a slave to the opinions of others. When your kindness is boundless, you risk becoming a servant to the whims of those around you. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, "It never ceases to amaze me. We all love ourselves more than other people, but care more about their opinion than our own." Excessive kindness seeks approval at the expense of self-respect. True strength lies in acting rightly, not in seeking validation. To elaborate, consider how this manifests in everyday life. The overly kind person may find themselves constantly saying yes to requests, even when it disrupts their own plans or violates their boundaries. They might bend over backwards to ensure others are pleased, often to their own detriment. This behavior erodes self-confidence over time, as the individual becomes more dependent on external validation. Stoicism teaches us to ground our actions in reason and virtue, not in the fleeting opinions of others. As Marcus Aurelius also advised, if you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it. And this, you have the power to revoke at any moment. Cultivating inner strength and self-respect requires saying no when necessary, even if it disappoints others. Furthermore, excessive kindness can foster a dangerous habit of self-neglect. When we prioritize others' needs above our own to an unreasonable degree, we gradually erode our ability to live authentically. Our choices become shaped by the expectations of others rather than by our own reasoned decisions. This not only weakens our character, but also breeds resentment, a subtle but corrosive emotion that undermines our capacity for genuine kindness. As Epictetus reminded us, don't explain your philosophy, embody it. To embody kindness in a balanced way, we must remain steadfast in our values and prioritize self-respect. When we bow too often to external expectations, we lose the ability to discern what truly matters. The Stoic idea of living in accordance with nature means acting from reason and virtue, not from compulsion. Excess kindness is a compulsion. It shackles us to the ever-changing demands of those around us, leaving little room for self-reflection or growth. To escape this trap, we must regularly evaluate our motives for kindness. Is it virtuous, or is it a desperate attempt to gain approval? As Seneca urged, you act like mortals in all that you fear, and like immortals in all that you desire. Recognize your mortality and focus on meaningful actions, not the fleeting judgments of others. 2. You enable the vice of others. In our eagerness to be kind, we may unwittingly foster dependence or indulgence in the flaws of others. Seneca wisely stated, "A benefit should be given as something which may be kept." If our kindness allows others to shirk their responsibilities or deepen their vices, it ceases to be kindness at all. This principle is evident in relationships where excessive kindness shields others from the consequences of their actions. A parent who constantly rescues their child from failure, for instance, might prevent that child from developing resilience or accountability. Similarly, enabling a friend's harmful habits, such as covering for their mistakes or providing financial aid without limits, does not serve their growth. True kindness seeks to uplift others in alignment with their highest potential, not to accommodate their weaknesses. As Epictetus warned, we must distinguish between helping others and enabling their vices. Make it your business to draw out the best in others, not to feed their faults. To expand further, consider the societal implications of enabling vice. When kindness becomes an excuse for leniency, we risk undermining the collective pursuit of justice and virtue. Excessive kindness can manifest as a reluctance to confront dishonesty, laziness, or unethical behavior in others. This reluctance may arise from a fear of conflict or a misguided belief that confrontation is unkind. Yet, as the Stoics understood, true kindness often involves difficult truths. To address another's flaws with honesty and compassion is to honor both justice and the shared human capacity for growth. Seneca eloquently stated, "He who does not prevent a crime when he can, encourages it." Practicing kindness in its highest form requires the courage to confront and correct, even when it is uncomfortable. Moreover, enabling others' vices diminishes their ability to confront life's hardships. The Stoics believed that adversity is a teacher, forging resilience and character through trial. By shielding others from difficulty, we deny them the opportunity to grow stronger. Imagine a bird in a nest. If it is never encouraged to fly, it will remain helpless. In the same way, kindness must be a catalyst for empowerment, not dependence. Seneca's wisdom applies here. Difficulties strengthen the mind, as labor strengthens the body. Let your kindness challenge others to become the best versions of themselves. 3. Your own boundaries crumble. Kindness without limits dissolves the walls that protect your sense of self. Epictetus taught us to guard our inner citadel. No man is free who is not master of himself. Excess kindness leaves your fortress unguarded, inviting chaos and exploitation into your life. When you fail to establish boundaries, you invite others to take advantage of your generosity. This can manifest as overcommitment, emotional exhaustion, and even resentment. The Stoics believe that our primary duty is to maintain the integrity of our inner world. By allowing others to infringe upon our time, energy, or values, we lose the freedom to act according to our own reasoned judgment. Establishing clear boundaries is not an act of selfishness, but a necessary practice of self-respect. As Epictetus advises, protect your inner peace as you would a treasured possession. Keep your attention focused entirely on what is truly your own concern, and be clear that what belongs to others is their business and none of yours. Moreover, the erosion of boundaries can have profound psychological consequences. Without the ability to say no, we risk becoming overwhelmed by the demands of others, leading to burnout and a diminished sense of self-worth. This is particularly true in professional settings, where excessive kindness may result in taking on disproportionate workloads or tolerating mistreatment. To live virtuously, we must recognize that setting boundaries is not an act of exclusion, but of preservation. It allows us to give freely and authentically, rather than out of obligation or fear. As Marcus Aurelius observed, waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one. By upholding our boundaries, we embody the principles of self-mastery and authenticity. Boundaries also allow us to maintain clarity about what is truly within our control. As the Stoics emphasize, our power lies in our choices, not in the actions or desires of others. When we set limits on our kindness, we assert our autonomy and ensure that our actions align with reason and virtue. This disciplined approach to kindness transforms it from an impulsive reaction into a deliberate and meaningful practice. By protecting our boundaries, we protect our capacity for sustained and virtuous action, a cornerstone of Stoic living. 4. You lose sight of justice. Justice, as the Stoics taught, is the highest virtue. Kindness that violates justice, giving where it is undeserved, or taking from where it is rightfully due, is no longer a virtue, but a transgression. To act justly is to act with balance and fairness, even when kindness must be tempered. When kindness leads us to ignore the principles of fairness and merit, it becomes a threat to societal harmony. Imagine a workplace where excessive kindness prevents managers from holding underperforming employees accountable. While the intent might be to spare feelings, the consequence is an erosion of team morale and productivity. Justice requires that we consider the broader impact of our actions, not just the immediate comfort of individuals. Marcus Aurelius warned, "What is not good for the hive is not good for the bee." True kindness, therefore, must always align with the greater good. Expanding further, justice also involves giving others what they need for their growth, even when it is not what they want. A teacher who inflates grades out of kindness deprives students of the opportunity to learn from their mistakes. A friend who avoids difficult conversations to preserve harmony fails to help another confront harmful behaviors. As Seneca stated, the highest good is not to please others, but to make them better. Justice tempers kindness with the wisdom to know when to challenge rather than accommodate. Justice also requires that we treat ourselves fairly. Excess kindness often results in self-neglect, as we prioritize others' needs over our own. This imbalance can lead to frustration and a diminished ability to contribute meaningfully. By practicing justice, we ensure that kindness doesn't come at the expense of our well-being. Epictetus reminds us, "If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid." Justice demands that we act according to reason, even when it is misunderstood or unpopular. 5. You erode your inner fortitude. The constant giving of oneself, without discernment, weakens resolve and drains the energy needed for greater pursuits. As Seneca wrote, "No man can swim for long with his hand in the water offering help." By exhausting yourself for others, you neglect the cultivation of your own strength. Fortitude, the courage to endure and persevere, is a cornerstone of Stoic philosophy. Excessive kindness, however, can deplete the mental and emotional reserves required for resilience. When we give without limits, we risk becoming depleted and unable to face our own challenges. The Stoics teach us to balance service to others with the nourishment of our own spirit. As Marcus Aurelius reflected, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." To maintain fortitude, we must prioritize self-care and allocate our energy wisely. Expanding further, the erosion of fortitude not only impacts the individual, but those who rely on their guidance and strength. Imagine a leader who is perpetually exhausted by the demands of others. This leader's capacity to inspire, direct, and protect diminishes, leaving their community vulnerable. The Stoics emphasized that a well-ordered life requires the individual to serve as an anchor of stability, unshaken by external chaos. Excessive kindness, when unchecked, unmoors this anchor and leaves us adrift. Seneca's wisdom reinforces this. Difficulties strengthen the mind, as labor strengthens the body. To preserve fortitude, we must embrace our limitations and ensure that our kindness does not overshadow our responsibility to cultivate inner strength. Furthermore, inner fortitude is a wellspring for meaningful action. Without it, even the most virtuous intentions falter. Consider how excessive kindness can cloud our ability to say no to draining commitments. By overextending ourselves, we lose the focus and determination needed to pursue long-term goals. The Stoics remind us that discipline, born of fortitude, is essential for achieving a life of purpose. As Epictetus stated, first say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. Fortitude, though, is the bridge between intention and action, and it must be safeguarded against the erosion caused by excessive giving. 6. You fail to teach others resilience. By solving others' problems out of misplaced kindness, you rob them of the opportunity to develop resilience. The Stoics remind us that hardship is the crucible of character. Difficulty strengthens the mind, wrote Seneca, as labor does the body. Let kindness guide, but not shield, others from the trials that shape them. Consider a parent who constantly steps in to resolve their child's struggles, shielding them from failure. While the intention may be loving, the consequence is often an adult who is ill-equipped to handle adversity. Stoicism teaches us that resilience is born from enduring life's challenges, not avoiding them. Epictetus advised, "Don't hope that events will turn out the way you want. Welcome events in whichever way they happen." By overprotecting others, we deny them the opportunity to internalize this vital lesson. Expanding further, kindness that undermines resilience can also stifle innovation and growth in professional settings. A manager who constantly fixes issues for their team may inadvertently prevent team members from developing problem-solving skills. Over time, this creates dependency and erodes the collective strength of the group. The Stoics understood that leadership involves fostering independence and resilience in others. True kindness challenges individuals to rise to their potential, even if it involves discomfort. Moreover, resilience is not only essential for individuals, but for communities. A society that shields its members from all forms of hardship risks becoming fragile and unprepared for future challenges. The Stoics believed that life's trials are opportunities for collective growth. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." When we allow others to confront and overcome obstacles, we contribute to a culture of resilience and fortitude. To teach resilience, we must first embody it. This requires discernment in our acts of kindness, knowing when to help and when to step back. As Seneca stated, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more that is poor." By demonstrating the strength to let others struggle and grow, we provide a lasting gift, the ability to face life with courage and wisdom. 7. You become blind to reality. In prioritizing kindness above all, you risk ignoring the truth of human nature. The Stoic philosopher Musonius Rufus taught us to act in harmony with reality, not in denial of it. Excessive kindness may blind you to manipulation, deceit, or the less virtuous intentions of others. We must deal with things as they are, not as we wish them to be, he advised. When we allow kindness to override discernment, we create an illusion of goodness, one that ignores flaws, dangers, and hard truths. Imagine extending unearned trust or forgiveness to someone with a history of harmful behavior. While this might seem noble, it places both yourself and others at risk. True kindness, grounded in reason, requires clear-sightedness and the courage to confront reality. Expanding further, blindness to reality can erode your ability to make sound judgments. Consider a friend who repeatedly borrows money without repayment. Excessive kindness might compel you to continue lending, despite mounting evidence of irresponsibility. The Stoics emphasized that wisdom, the ability to see clearly and act accordingly, must temper all virtues, including kindness. As Epictetus reminded us, appearances are of four kinds. Things either are as they appear to be, or they neither are nor appear to be, or they are and do not appear to be, or they are not. and yet appear to be. Understanding reality is essential to navigating it effectively. Moreover, this blindness can extend beyond personal relationships to broader societal or professional contexts. A leader who refuses to confront inefficiency or dishonesty within their organization, for example, does a disservice to their team and mission. Kindness cannot be a justification for inaction. Marcus Aurelius's meditations remind us, you have to assemble your life yourself, action by action, and be satisfied if each one achieves its goal as far as possible. This requires confronting the world as it is, not as we wish it to be. To overcome this pitfall, we must cultivate what the Stoics called prohairesis, moral character. This includes the ability to perceive reality clearly and act with integrity, even when kindness must be withheld or tempered. Kindness must be a deliberate choice, not a reflexive or naive response. As Seneca wrote, "A sword never kills anybody. It is a tool in the killer's hand." Similarly, kindness is a tool that must be wielded wisely, with awareness of its consequences. 8. You invite resentment and contempt. Strange as it may seem, excessive kindness can breed ingratitude or even disdain. Marcus Aurelius observed that some people will resent your good deeds because they expose their own shortcomings. He advised, when you do kindnesses and someone resents it, don't feel sorry for yourself or distressed, but give it up as the bad habit it is. This counterintuitive reality stems from human psychology. When kindness is given excessively or without discernment, it may be perceived as condescension or an expectation of reciprocation. Imagine consistently going out of your way to help a colleague, only to find that they begin to take your efforts for granted. Instead of gratitude, they may feel entitled or even annoyed by your generosity. Expanding further, this dynamic can erode relationships. When kindness becomes a one-sided transaction, it breeds imbalance and tension. The Stoics understood that virtue is not about imposing our goodwill on others, but about living in harmony with reason. As Epictetus stated, don't strive to have events happen as you wish, but wish them to happen as they do. This includes accepting that not everyone will appreciate or value your kindness. Furthermore, excessive kindness can undermine your authority or credibility. A leader who is overly accommodating, for instance, may lose the respect of their team. Kindness, when perceived as weakness, invites exploitation. The Stoics remind us that true strength lies in balancing compassion with firmness. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, kindness and integrity, these qualities are invincible. To practice invincible kindness, we must temper it with boundaries and clarity of purpose. To avoid resentment and contempt, we must ensure that our kindness is proportional and intentional. This requires self-awareness and a commitment to reciprocity. Seneca's wisdom offers guidance. A benefit is estimated not by the magnitude of what is given, but by the character of the person who receives it and the feeling that prompts the giver. Let your kindness flow from strength, not insecurity, and offer it only where it can truly do good. 9. You lose touch with your purpose. Every Stoic knows the importance of living in harmony with one's purpose. Excessive kindness can pull you away from your path, leaving you scattered and unfocused. Epictetus implored us, ask yourself, what is my duty? When we prioritize others' desires over our own guiding principles, we risk drifting away from the very values that define us. Consider how this unfolds in everyday life. A person overwhelmed by the demands of others might find themselves saying yes to every request, no matter how trivial or misaligned with their purpose. Over time, This constant self-sacrifice erodes their ability to focus on their goals and fulfill their potential. Kindness, when unmoored from reason, can transform from a virtue into a distraction. Marcus Aurelius reminded us, "You have within you a guiding principle that will show you the way. Follow it." Excess kindness diverts us from that path. Expanding further, losing touch with purpose can lead to profound dissatisfaction. Without clear boundaries, we become reactive rather than proactive, responding to external demands instead of pursuing internal aspirations. The Stoics urged us to act with deliberation, ensuring that each choice aligns with our greater purpose. As Seneca wrote, "If one does not know to which port one is sailing, no wind is favorable." Kindness must be guided by this sense of direction, ensuring that it serves both our purpose and the greater good. Moreover, excessive kindness can foster resentment and burnout. When we sacrifice too much for others, we may begin to feel that our own needs and goals are neglected. This internal conflict can erode our sense of self-worth and clarity. To avoid this, the Stoics teach us to balance service with self-care, ensuring that our actions are sustainable and aligned with our values. As Epictetus advised, keep your will in line with nature, and you will walk the right path. To reconnect with purpose, we must regularly reflect on our priorities and ensure that our kindness supports rather than undermines our journey. This involves discerning between meaningful acts of generosity and those that detract from our greater mission. In doing so, we honor both ourselves and the principles of Stoic wisdom. 10. You sabotage your own growth. In giving too much of yourself to others, you leave little for your own growth. The Stoics valued self-cultivation as the foundation of a virtuous life. Seneca reminds us, "He who is everywhere is nowhere." When kindness is excessive, it disperses our energy and focus, leaving us unable to pursue our own development. Self-growth requires time, effort, and reflection. Imagine someone who constantly prioritizes others' needs, sacrificing their own learning, health, or aspirations. Over time, this imbalance leads to stagnation. Marcus Aurelius reflected, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." By overindulging others, we prevent ourselves from facing the challenges that foster growth. Expanding further, excessive kindness can create a cycle of dependency. When we focus entirely on helping others, we may inadvertently discourage them from taking responsibility for their own growth. This dynamic not only stifles their development, but also limits our ability to invest in ourselves. True kindness seeks to empower others while maintaining the space for self-improvement. Moreover, neglecting personal growth undermines our ability to contribute meaningfully. The Stoics believed that self-cultivation is not selfish, but necessary for the betterment of society. Epictetus stated, "First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do." To serve others effectively, we must first strengthen ourselves. To avoid sabotaging growth, we must cultivate discipline and prioritize our own development. This involves setting boundaries, saying no when necessary, and dedicating time to pursuits that enrich our character and skills. By doing so, we ensure that our kindness is sustainable and rooted in strength. As Seneca wrote, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it." Let us use our time wisely, balancing kindness with the pursuit of wisdom and growth. Kindness, when guided by reason, is a powerful virtue. But like all virtues, it must be tempered with wisdom, justice, and self-control. To practice Stoicism is to recognize that excess, even of a virtue, is the seed of ruin. Let us then strive to be kind without being weak, just without being cruel, and strong without being harsh. For in this balance lies the mastery of our emotions and the fulfillment of our purpose. As Marcus Aurelius said, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one."